Hello everyone, welcome back to our channel. Have you ever wondered how computer really work behind the scenes? Or how powerful software starts with just a few simple line of codes? If yes, you are in the right place. So in this playlist, we are going to learn C programming from the scratch, step by step, no confusion, no boring theory, just clear explanation and real coding examples. So whether you are a beginner or someone who wants to strengthen your basics, so get ready to code, learn and build confidence together. So let's get started with our C program. Now before we start writing programs, it is important to understand what C programming is and how to set up our coding environment. So C is a general purpose programming language developed by Dennis Ritchie in 1972. It is the most of the powerful languages because it helps us to understand core programming concept and memory management. Many modern languages like C++, Java and Python are influenced by this C language, and it is widely used in operating system, embedded system and system level application. So learning C will help you build a strong logical foundation which makes learning other programming language much easier. So now let's talk about the tool we will use to write our program. So we will be using Visual Studio Code, also known as VS Code, because it is free, lightweight and popular code editor used by developers all over the world. So we will write our first C program, hello world, and understand how C works line by line. So don't worry, if you are completely new, I will explain every step by step so you can follow along easily. So we will ready to start coding. So first we need to understand how the C programming structure work, because C is a structured language, right? So it will work with a structure. So how does the structure looks? So first it will start from, so this is our VS Code. So first we want to create one file with the extension .c with our file name. So if you click this, you can create a new file, and first I am writing hello dot. We should end up with C so that the compiler knows this is a C programming file, right? So this symbol is used to create a file and this symbol is used to create a folder. Why we need folder means we create a folder and inside that we can store multiple files, right? So first how the C program structure look. So first we will write #include stdio.h, then int main. So inside that block of code, then return 0. So what we are going to print in our first program? Hello world, right? So HE hello world. So first we will run this. So we got our output hello world. So what is happening here? So first we will see this printf, okay? So whatever we have given in the double quotes, it will always printed, right? So whatever we are giving in this double quotes, it will always printed. So try with your name, age or your favorite place. So I am keeping info techies. Then I am running this and we have got info techies. So whatever you are giving in this double quotes, it will always printed in the output screen. So what is here happening? So we are here including something, right? So as include means we are including something in our program. So what we are including? We are including this, right? stdio.h we are including. So what is that? So stdio.h means we are calling that library to our program, right? We are including that in our program. So stdio means standard input output. Standard input output library, right? We are including the standard input output function from that library. So without this library, we can't able to print this. So this is output, right? So for getting the user input and for printing in the output, we are going to include this library in our C program. So this is important to include in our C program. This is called header files, right? So this is called header files. We are including some libraries to our C program, right? Then what is this main? So our C program will start working from this main function. Always the main function will execute at first, then only all other functions will work. So don't get confused. I have said function. We will see in later the classes. So try to understand. So main is the first thing that will execute in our C programming. All the other files are executed after the main function. So first our compiler will goes to this line and it will check is this main function or not. Then if it is main, it will execute the code and it will print this info text is in our output screen, right? So what is this return 0? So we are telling to our compiler that my program is ending here, right? So don't get confused because of this return 0. While coming to the topics, you will understand what is that return, what is this int main and all. So this is how the code is running. So see, our as include stdio means it is a header file for input and output. So our main is the entry point of our program, that is first thing execute in our program. So we are given like curly braces, right? So that is means it is a block of code starting from opening curly braces to ending curly braces. So inside that, if we return any code, that is called block of code, right? So our printf is a output function, right? So output function we are using to print the output to the screen, right? So return 0 means we are terminating the program there we are telling, right? So C is a structured program. So if you miss even a single colon here, it will throw an error. So it is a case sensitive. So if you miss the semicolon, it will show error like, see we have missed there semicolon, expected semicolon before return. So in this we want to keep semicolon. So before ending every statement, we need to keep this semicolon, right? So the compiler will know this printing statement is ended here itself. That's why we are keeping this semicolon. Understood? So this is our first program and we printed it. So try with different examples like printing your age, your name, your roll number. So we have successfully completed our first program in C. So we will move on to our next topic. So next we are going to see about tokens in C. So token means what? It is a smallest individual units in a program, right? So we have 6 type of tokens. So what are those? Keywords, identifier, constants, string, operator, special character, right? So if we have some example like, so we have here example, right? Int a equal to 10. So don't worry if you didn't get that. You will understood clearly in the upcoming class. So here we have okay. Now we are going to see the examples for tokens, right? So I am writing int a equal to 10. So don't worry if you don't understood, just listen. So this is keyword, right? So this is keyword, this is identifier, and this is operator, and this is constant, right? So special character means we will have like this special character. Then what we have? Then we have strings, right? So string means something represented with double quotes. So it is called strings. So if I write here AB, so this is called strings. So we are seeing about tokens, right? So tokens means it is a smallest individual part in our program. So this is one small part and this is one small and this is one individual. So this is the example for token, right? So I hope you understood. So we will move on to the next topic. See, token means it is the smallest individual units in our program. Units means just a keywords identifier like that. Okay. So next what we are going to see, we are going to see some keywords. So keyword means what? It is a reversed word with predefined meaning. So the word should have the predefined meaning, that's called keywords. So example we have like int, float, char, if, else. So int means that represent integer, right? So float means that represent float value, that is decimal value. So char means it is character. So this if, else, for, while, return. See, we have seen return in our program, right? So that is also one keyword, right? We will see this in coming class. So we cannot use this keyword as a variable name, right? If we use, it will throw some error. And our keyword will always in lowercase. So if you see in our program, this int is keyword, right? This printf is keyword, this return is keyword, right? So we use keyword in every program. So without keyword, we can't use the program. So next, so we are going to now see about identifiers. So identifier means what? The name given to a variables or functions or arrays, etc. So here we have seen, right, this A. So if we write another like this, so this is an identifier, right? So this B is an identifier, right? We call this 10 by using this identifier. That means if you want this 10, we want to use this B, right? So we want to say the B as identifier of 10, right? So identifier means it is nothing but the name we are going to use for our variables. So we will see about variables. So the identifier means the name we use for our variables, right? So our identifier should only contains letter, digits, underscore, right? But it will not start with number like 1 and then letters. It should start from underscore or it should start from the letters, right? So we should not give any spaces in between the identifier. See, if like I am giving int and I am giving num and leave one space and then I am giving bar. So this is not correct way to use the identifier. So the identifier should start with underscore and then num, or it should start from num underscore, but you can use like this, but you should not leave a space, right? So while learning variables, we will understand this more clarity. So constant and literals is our next topic. So constant means what? It is a fixed value, right? Like 10, 5, like that constant's value is known as fixed values. So now we are going to see about data types in C. So data types means what basically? Data types means that refers to which type of data. So if I give 10, it represents integer, right? So if I give decimal, it represents to float or double, right? If I given like one letter ABC, then it represents to character. So data type specifies which type of data it is. So we have basic data types like 4 types. So integer, float, double, character. Then their sizes. For integer we have 4 size, that is bytes. For integer it is 4 bytes, for float it is 4 bytes, for double it is 8 bytes, and for character it is 1 byte. So example, so what kind of type we have? Basic type int. Int means it is from 10, right? So this is called integer. If it is float, then it is decimal value, and we have double, right? So double is also decimal value, but it stores extra value than the float after the point. Then we have character. It stores the single letter. So characters should be given in the single quotes. Like single letter only we can given in the character. If we want to give more words, then we use this double quotes, that is strings. So we will see in the coming classes. So this represent the strings, this represent the character. So this also the collection of characters only, but we say it as strings, right? So this is our basic data types in our C. So integer, float, double, character. So integer means it is we can store here negative value also, right? Float means it has decimal, double also it is a decimal, character means it stores the single value, right? So this is our 4 data types in our C programming. So we'll move on to the next topic. So next topic is variables. So variables mean what? Variable means a variable stores data in memory, right? So basically variables means it is a container. So it is a container which we use to store values in it. So if I given here a equal to 10, so this is a variable which stores 10 in it. So if I take my container and this is a, so here it will store 10 in it, right? So if I want to print this 10 means I need to call this variable, then only we can print this 10, right? So variables means it is a container which is used to store the values in it, right? So if I given like int a equal to 10 means it will create one integer type of container and it will store the 10 in it in the memory location, right? So it will create one box for my a and it will store 10 in it, right? So our variable should be declared before we use, right? Then already we have seen for identifier that it should not use any keywords, right? So in the variable also it should not use any keywords. So what is the rules for our variables means? So it should not start with, number. Should not start with number like 1 then ABC. This is wrong. We should start with underscore or this dollar symbol. Only these two special characters are allowed to use in our variable. Like you can use like this or $ABC. So no other special characters are allowed to use in our variables like at, star, minus, plus. So these and all we should not use in our variable names, right? So then we should not give any gap between our variable name like ABC gap E. So this is wrong. You should give your variable name like this. So if you want to give month salary, instead of keeping a space here, just write month underscore salary, right? So here you can use this underscore or you can use this dollar symbol also. So while writing your variable, the name should be meaningful. So if someone sees your program, they should understood the variable is meaning for something, right? The name should be meaningful. So if we keep like E, F, G, H, so what is the meaning in it? So if you keep the month salary or time, so it will be meaningful, right? Then the variable is case sensitive. So if you given name and the another variable like a name, both are name. But see, the first character is different. So it is in uppercase, it is in lowercase, right? So both are different variable and it contains separate memory space in location, right? Then you can't create two variables with same name. That means name and name. So here no difference are there. So you should not create the same names two times, right? So this is some rules to create the variables. So what is the syntax to create the variable means? So we have syntax The syntax is data type, variable name, and equal to and the value. So this equal to represent, we are assigning this variable some value, right? We are assigning the value to this variable, right? So this is the syntax to create the variable. So we can use any data types. I am using int. So int variable name I am giving number. Then I am giving some integer value to it, right? You want to give the value which data type you are given here. See, if you are given a float, you should give a float only, right? If you declare your integer and you are giving like 3.4, it will show some error, right? Understood? So next we are going to see about the input and output function. So already we have seen our output function, right? So we just printed our hello world. So using printf only we are going to print the values. So we have seen for just in our double quotes we have seen, right? So what if we want to print the integer value or float value? What we are going to do? So for that we have some format specifier. So format specifier means what? For every data type we have some format specifier for it. The format specifier refers this type of data type I am going to printing or I am going to get value for those variables. So for printing the output, I am going to print some integer means, so here I need to write %d. So %d is for integer. Then I want to write here the integer type of value. Then what it will do means, when the compiler comes to this line and it will check which format specifier is here, then it sees %d and immediately it will goes to this line and it will check it is whether integer type of data or not. If it is integer type data, it will store here. So it will come and store here, and we already said, right, what is having in our double quotes, it will printed in the output screen. Then my 10 will be printed, right? So this is how the format specifier will work. So for integer, the format specifier is %d. For float, it is %f, right? For character, it is %c. Right? So this is how we are going to print our integer, float, character or string some values. Okay. So we will print this. So first we will declare one variable and we are going to print that value. Right? So first, how to declare a variable? What is my syntax? Data type, variable name, then assignment operator, then value. Right? So I am taking one integer and my variable is number equal to 20 I am giving. Right? So now I am going to print this 20 in my output. So printing what we want to give in this double quotes, we want to give here the format specifier, right? So I am giving the %d. Then after comma what we are going to give? The integer value, right? So instead of giving the integer value, I am giving this variable name, right? So what will happen here? Here we are given number, right? So we have 20 in our number. So what will this format specifier will do means, so it will go and check whether this number is integer or not. Then if it is integer means, it will take the value and print it in the output screen. So see, we have got here 20, right? So let me delete this and then this. So see, we have got here 20, right? So if you leave here some space after this %d, your output will also leave here some space. I have told you, right, whatever we are given in this double quotes will be printed. So I am going to print the float also. So float num2 equal to 3.4, right? So for printing, what is the format specifier for float? %f, right? Then I am going to give here the variable name num2, right? Then I am going to run this. So see, we have got 20 and then 3.44. The floats basically have 6 digits after the point. If you want more than that, you can use double. So here I have got 5 zeros extra, right? So what if I want only 2 digits after this point. That means I want like my output should be 3.40. So what I supposed to do means here I need to give a percentage dot 2f, right? So if I printed with that 0.2 means I will have like 5 zeros after this 3.4, right? So if I given here 0.2, it will stop after the 0.2 value. So that is up to 40. Okay, we will print this. So see, we have got 20 our integer value and we have got 3.40. So what if I want only one digit? So we will say 1. Then it will print 3.4 only, right? I hope you understood. So now we are going to declare one char variable, that is char ch equal to, I already said it right, char stores only single letter. So I am giving a capital A. So I am going to print that. Right, what is the format specifier for character? Percentage C. Then variable name, right? So it will directly go to this variable and get this A, right? So if I run this, so see we have got 23.4 A. So here, it's look, we have got in a one single line, right? So it is so clumsy. So if you want to print this A in the next line, what you are supposed to do means, you need to add here /n. So /n means, /n it represents the new line. So when the compiler sees this /n, it will automatically goes to the next line. So after printing this float variable, it will come to this printing statement, right? So at first in the double quotes what we are given /n. So first it will move on to the next line and it will print the capital A. So we will see it. So see we have got a 23.4 in our first line and A in our second line. So what if I want to print another line? So this line will be at our last line. So I am adding a /n. So see we have got a 23.4 and then A and then this line moves to the last, right? So /n is used to represent the new line. Okay, I hope you understood this. So we can also use here /n, so that after printing the integer it will move on to the next line and it will print the float. So if I run this, so see we have got 23.4 then A, right? I hope you understood this input output and we declare variable then we printed it. I hope you understood this. So try to declare your age, roll number, name and try to print it, okay? So don't forget this format specifier. If you forget, you will not get any output, right? So now we are going to learn about how to get user input from the user, right? So we are going to get the input from a user. So we have printf for output, right? So we have scanf for input. So we have one function called scanf to get the input from the user. So the syntax is, to get the user input is just scanf, then percentage format specifier in double quotes. If you are getting the user input integer, then give %d, then here we need to first give ampersand symbol that holds the address of that variable, right? Then your variable name. So if you declare integer, I am just giving num here. So what is happening here? So this and represent the address of the variable, right? So if you declare some integer value like this, you just declare. So this is called declared. This is called initialization, right? So this is called declare, this is called initialize. So when you declare one integer value and you are getting a user input, and you will write like this, and A. So what this and means, it stores the address of that variable. Like every variable has its own address in the memory location. So this is our variable A, right? So here you will see one address. It will store in hexadecimal value. So it will have some address. right? So when you do your ampersand symbol and this A, so this will take this address and it will give it to the scanner and it will get integer and it will return to it and it will store that integer in this memory address, right? So the ampersand symbol is used to get the address and we are going to store in that memory location, right? So I hope you understood. So first, to getting the user input, we just need to declare a variable. So first we need to declare variable, then only we can get the user input. So I am declaring A and we want to end it with semicolon, right? Then for getting the user input, we need to use scanner and inside it format specifier. What we are going to get? Integer, right? So format specifier. Then what we are going to do? So ampersand symbol, that holds the address of the variable and our variable name A, right? So after getting the input, I am just going to print it. So for printing also same format, right? So format specifier and the variable name A, right? So we will run this. Wait, let me run in the new screen. So see, the cursor is keep asking me to the give input, right? So I am giving, you should need to give integer type of data, right? So I am giving a 20 and I enter, see 20 at printer, right? So if I run this again, it is asking me to write input. I am giving 80 and it printed 80. So what if I had given the another data type value like 3.45? See what is happening here? It is reducing the float value, right? So it automatically decrement the value and it will print. See, if I given here values that is 0.5 and below 5, it will decrement the value to the 3. If I given 3.8 or something, then also it will give the 3 only. So it will. So see, whatever the value after point we give, it will always print the point before value when you are given the integer and you are trying to write float value. So we will move on to the next topic. So for getting the input for float, same. So we will write float b equal b, then scanner percentage f, then ampersand symbol b, right? So printing statement percentage f, then b. So we will print in different line. So I am writing a slash. So first it is asking me for integer value, I am giving 30, and it is asking me for float value, I am giving 3.4. So 3.450. I have already said you, right? If you want 2 value, just give 0.2. Right? So again I am running this. So it is asking me the input, I am giving 60 and 3.5, then we have 3.50. Understood? I hope you understood this. We move on to the next topic. So now we are going to see about the type conversion, right? So we have two type of type conversion, that is implicit type conversion, explicit type conversion, right? So implicit type conversion means it will automatically done by the compiler, right? So if I given here, int a equal to 10 and then I have given float b equal to a, right? So what will happen here? This a will be converted to a float, right? So we will just try to print the both value. So see, we have 0 in our a value. So this is a conversion that will manually do by a compiler. Okay. So now we will see the explicit conversion. Okay. That will done by manually. That is ourselves. Okay. So explicit conversion example. See, we will declare one variable that is float. Average we are declaring or something like number. Like, so inside one bracket we will give another data type, right? So done. So what I am giving? I am giving 10 divided by 5. So what we will get? 2, right? So here we are given inside the bracket float. So convert this answer into the float. Then we will get 2.0000, right? Printf percentage f inside that num, right? So we will comment this. So wait, I will show you in the new screen. So see, we have got 2.0000, right? So if I didn't given here, if I convert this into int, what we are getting? Then also the same, because we declared here float, right? So I will change this into float and we will try it with here float. So why we are getting 0? We are given here f. So see, we have got here 2, right? So if we printed in our D, it will reduce our float value, right? So it will just give our point before value. So that's why it is printing 2. So now we are going to see operators in C. So we are going to see about operators in C. So basically, what is operators? Operators performs operation on the operands. That is, it performs the operation between 2 values or 3 values. Okay. So we have, how many times we have? We have arithmetic operator, relational operator, logical operator, assignment operator, increment and decrement operator, conditional ternary operator. So how many we have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and we have bitwise also. So 7 operators we have. Right. So first we are going to see about arithmetic operator. So what is arithmetic operator? So you know, right? So arithmetic operations like plus, minus, multiplication, division, and we have another one like modulus. Okay. So this plus performs addition between 2 variables. So if I given 5 plus 3, it will give me 8, right? So this minus will do a minus b, that is 5 minus 3, we will get 2, right? So this will give me multiplication. That means 5 into 3 we will get 15, right? So this will give me a divided by b, that is, if I done 4 divided by 2, we will get 2. So what is happen about this percentage? A divided by b. That means if I do 5 modulus 3, what will be my output? So this is also divide only, this is also divide only. So what is difference between them? So basically how it is represent? Like this, right? So we are going to divide the 5 by 3. So 3 ones are 3, right? So we will get the remainder as 2, right? So if we use this modulus operator, we got our remainder, right? So this remainder will be the output for this symbol. So 5 modulo 3, we will get 2, right? So the remainder will be answer for this modulus. So how we are getting for this divide symbol? The quotient is the answer for this division. So see, if I divide 4 by 2, 2 2s are 4, right? So my remainder is 0. So what we have got in our quotient? That is my output at this division, right? So if I do like 4% do, then my answer will be 0. So this is the difference between them, right? So we will see this in our code. Okay. So we will create one file. So how to create a file? So click this file. So I am going to write arithmetic.c. Extension should be important because that's the extension will tell that this is a C program, right? So what is our structure? As include stdio.h, then int main because it is the entry point of our program, then return 0. Return 0 means we have successfully completed our program and terminated. So what we are going to do? First we are going to see about arithmetic operator, right? So before that we are going to see about commands. So commands means it will not execute in our compiler, just to understand what we are doing here. So we can add some command here, that is we are going to do arithmetic operators, right? So this is a command. Why we are writing this? To understand ourselves that we are doing this operation. Just for the sake of understanding we are writing this command. So for a single line command you just need to give double slash. For multi-line commands you need to give slash star and star then one slash. So inside it you can write multiple line and it will be commented, right? So what another operator we have? Plus, minus, multiplication, division and this modulus operator. This operator is known as modulus arithmetic operator, right? So first we will do the program for addition, right? For addition. So I am going to take two variables like a equal to 20. So we will get those in scanf, okay? I am going to declare two variables, that is a and b. You can declare like this also, like a comma b and then semicolons. That means you are declaring two variables, right? Then scanf and percentage d. So what you are going to do means you want to write two scanf, right? First two variable, but instead of writing like two lines of code, I am just going to give you a percentage d. So this also will do the same thing that we written for two lines. So ampersand symbol a, then give comma, then ampersand symbol b. This is the code in one line to get the multiple input, right? So then we are going to do for addition, right? So I am taking another variable to store this addition. So I am taking c. So what we are going to do? A plus b, right? And I am going to print that d then c, right? Because we are storing the addition in our c variable only. So I am giving here addition. So I am keeping this add, okay? If we run this, we will run the new screen. So see, I am giving 10, then 20, so we will get 30 add, right? So now we will do for subtraction. So same variable, same a and b only. I am going to take another variable to store the subtraction like int d equal to a minus b, right? So then I am going to print it percentage d, then the d variable. So it will give the subtraction variable and I am giving one slash, right? So first I am giving input like 20 and then 10. So our addition should be 30 and our subtraction should be 10, right? So see, 30 for addition, 10 for subtraction, right? Understood? So then we are going to do for our next what we have multiplication, right? So mul I am writing, then the same a and b variable, but I am going to store it some k. So if you want to some different variables, just like mul, that means multiplication. Then a into b, right? Then I am going to just print it, the mul variable, right? So I am writing here mul. So we will run this. So I am giving 5 and 2. Our addition will be 7, our subtraction will be 3 and our multiplication will be 10. Right? See, 7 add, 3 sub, 10 multiplication. Right? So then we are going to do for our division symbol. Right? So division. So int div equal to a divided by b, right? So we are just going to print percentage d, then div, right? So this will give the quotient of our divide, right? So this will give the quotient, right? So we will run this. So first I am giving input like 30 and then 10. So our add is 40, subtract is 20, multiplication is 30. So our divide, the quotient is 3. Right? So I forgot to mention here div. And now we will do for our modulus operator. Modulus operator, right? So I am taking int mod equal to a modulo b. This will give our remainder, right? So this add will give a quotient. This will give remainder, right? So this is for modulus operator. So we'll now see all the operation whether it is working or not, right? Here I am giving like 20 and 10. So see 10 for 30 for add, 10 for sub, 20 for multiplication, 2 for divide and 0 for mod. Because what? 10 2s will get 20 and our remainder will be 0, right? So we got 0 here. So I hope you understood this arithmetic operator. So now we will move on to the next operator, that is our relational operator. So basically what is meant by relational operator? So relational operator means it is used to compare values, right? So whether it is less than, greater than, like that, right? So relational operator is used for comparison between two or more variables. So what are the operators we have in our relational means? Like equal, it is used to check whether it is two numbers are equal or two variables are equal. Then exclamatory equal means it is not equal. Then greater than, to check whether the number is greater than another. Then less than, then greater than or equal to, then less than or equal to. So when we use this relational operator, it will return 1, that means true, or 0. 0 means false, right? So basically if the output is returning value is 0, it is mean by false. If it is 1, then it is true. So see, if I give some value, use a relation between two values means if I am giving 5 less than 6. 5 less than 6 means it is true, right? So it will give me the value as 1. So 1 represents true, right? So if I given 6 less than 5, this is false, right? Because 6 is greater than 5. So this condition is false. So it will return me 0. So 0 represent false. So this is how relational operators will work, right? So we will see some examples. So we are going to create another file for relational .c. So our structure is as include stdio.h, then int main, then return 0, right? So again I am going to take another two variables to check between them. So scanf %d to get ampersand symbol A, ampersand symbol B, right? This is used to get the multiple input. So now first, what are relational operator we have? Equal to, not equal to, less than, greater than, less than equal to, greater than equal to. Then what we have? That's it, right? We have, okay. So first we will check for equal to. So just print the value that is coming 1 or 0. If the output is 1, then it is true. If the output is 0, then that is false, right? So we are checking if my A is equal to B. So see, if I given here something like 10 the value for A and 10 the value for B. So here what will happen? It will come to this line and it will check A equal to B. That is 10 equal to 10 or not. Yeah, that is true, right? Then in our output, we will have 1, right? So we will print it. We will run this new screen. So I am giving 10 and then 10. So see, we have got here 1, right? So I will just, so again I am running it. So see, I am giving 10 and then 10. So see, we have got 1, right? That means it is true. So if I again run this and give different value, 10, 20, it is not equal, right? So we have got 0. That is, it means false. So same like printing statement for, now what we are going to check? A is not equal to B. That means if I give here 20, then what will check? Is my A is not equal to B? It will check. Yeah, that is true. 10 is not equal to 20. That becomes true and it will also print 1. But this condition will give me 0 because 10 is not equal to 20. Then for less than, right, I am going to check if my A is less than B, then print 1. See, in this case, if I give 10, 20, 10 is less than 20. So obviously the output will be 1, right? So next we are going to see for greater than. If my A is greater than B, then the output will be 1. But in this case, 10 greater than 20, no, the condition is false. So it will become 0, right? So for the next, we are going to check for less than equal to. Percentage D and A less than or equal to B, then print 1. Right? So in this case, A less than B, one condition is true, right? Then it will be print 1. In this case, it is not compulsory to both, it is also less than, it is also equal to. If A is less than B, then it is 1. A is equal to B, it will 1, right? So in this case, between 10 and 20, it will print 1. Then we are going to check for A greater than equal to B. So here what will happen? So it will check 10 greater than or equal to B, right? It will check 10 greater than or equal to B. The condition also false. So first it will check it is greater than or B. No. Then again it will check for 10 equal to 20. That also false. Then it will return 0 here, right? So I will run this. So see, I am giving 10 and then 20. So what are the condition will give 1 here? This equal to will not give 1 because it is we didn't give an equal values. But A is not equal to B, right? Because 10 is not equal to 20. Then here we will get 1. And for this A less than B also we will get 1 because 10 is less than 20. For this greater than, the output will be 0 because 10 is not greater than 20. Here it will check A less than B, that will be 20. But it is not equal. But one condition is true, right? Then it will come to this line and this both the condition also fail. Right? See 0, 1, 1, 0, 1, 0. So we can write like this also. B greater than A. We can also write like this. Yeah, right? B is greater than 0. That is our 20 is greater than 10. So here it will become true and print 1. Now in fourth we have 0, right? So if I run again and I give you 10, 20. So see, we are in fourth place. Now we have 1, right? I hope you understood this relational operator. So if you have any doubts, let me see in the comments. So try it yourself with more values. So thank you for listening. So we will see in our next video. So please subscribe for more videos.